As you can see, I'm where I love being, on the deck of a rolling ship, boldly going where no one has gone before, which in this case is part of 50% of America that lies unexplored beneath the sea, with an amazing team of explorers made up of individuals that realize our society is presently undergoing a major transformation in how it defines itself. Gone are the simplistic stereotypes that I watched on TV as a child with such programs as Ozzie and Harriet Show, where the white dad went off to work in the family's only car while mom stayed home to raise the children. These old stereotypes are gone. But what is the new norm? That's a question each of us must answer in our own special way, because each of us is a unique individual with unique capabilities, with a unique view of the world. In many ways, I view myself as a single piece of Lego that was designed to fit into a much, much larger landscape. But without me, that landscape can never be whole. So where do I fit into this larger landscape? And what is it that I have to offer? Well, I was born in Wichita, Kansas, where I jokingly say all oceanographers come from. It was 6 months after the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, which is only a few miles away from where we are right now. I am the first of 13 generations of my American family to receive a college diploma, which you are about to receive today. The road I had to go down to reach this historic moment in my life was on a bumpy one, not taken by most of my college classmates. For I am dyslexic, and I had to survive the educational system I had just navigated. I survived in spite of the system, not because of the system, because I was different. I didn't know I was dyslexic until very late in my life, since little was known about it when I was growing up. I just knew I was different. I knew I was not stupid, as we were commonly felt to believe, just different. But that's the beauty of the human condition, since we are all different. So we just need to accept that fact and move on. We need to celebrate the differences and not condemn them. Luck has definitely played an important role in my life, but to be lucky, you have to be in the game. Fortunately, there was always been a person, first it was my mother, followed by my teachers, and then my bosses through life, who took time to pick me up when I fell down, when I was really ready to give up my dreams. A person would mentor me and encourage me to continue on my chosen road in life, who saw something that I didn't even see in myself, a mentor who literally bet on my horse, a process that, believe it or not, at age 80 continues to this very day. Our wisest elders know that by lifting the next generation up onto their shoulders, that new generation will see a new horizon that only they can see. I was lucky to be a graduate student in the earth sciences at URI's Graduate School of Oceanography when our discipline experienced its own revolution and period of turmoil, when old schools of thought were burnt to the ground, out of which emerged a new phoenix. Our revolution began, ironically, in 1912, the same year the Titanic sank, that I would go on later to discover, when an obscure scientist named Alfred Wegener proposed the concept of continental drift. That the continents, this is what he proposed, that the continents of Africa and Europe drifted away from one another from the continents of North and South America to form the Atlantic Ocean. This unusual, radical view of the world was immediately attacked by the experts at the time, and Wegener died, literally died in ridicule, only to be proven right some 50 years later when the theory of plate tectonics, a close corollary of continental drift, was proven to be the law of the land. something I was very proud to have played a role in when I crawled into a tiny little submarine and descended into the great Rift Valley of the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, some 9,000 feet down, to witness firsthand Earth creating its outer skin, turning the theory of plate tectonics into scientific law. That was followed 2 years later with our discovery of a whole new ecosystem living in the deep sea that was able to duplicate the process of photosynthesis in the dark through a process we now call chemosynthesis. That discovery was followed another 2 years later with the discovery of these tall, super hot, black smoking chimneys formed by the circulation of the entire volume of the world's oceans going inside the Earth and out, changing its chemistry and coming back out in these giant black smokers, which explained for the first time the chemistry of the oceans. Think about it, in less than 10 years, we rewrote the geology book, the biology book, and the chemistry textbooks that are now suggesting that we're not alone in the universe, and perhaps that life may also exist elsewhere, even within our own solar system. In the shadows of this revolution, the next revolution, or one could call evolution in thinking of the Earth, was already underway. Again, by a maverick living on the edge of science. This maverick was James Lovelock, who saw the world through a separate lens, shaped by being dyslexic as I am. In short, the Gaia theory proposes that all living organisms interact with Mother Earth to form a synergistic and self-regulating but very complex system that helps to maintain and perpetuate the conditions for life on our planet. Unfortunately, one species, namely the human race, has declared war on Earth and all other life on the planet, a war humans must not win, since it will lead to our own demise. My view of the world is through the eyes, as I just said, of an Earth scientist. But we're not alone. A very dear friend of mine, Dr. Enrique Sala, who sees the world I see, but through a different eye, an eye of a global ecologist. He beautifully described this in his recent book, The Nature of Nature, which all of you must read, or if you're dyslexic like I, listen to it. In it he says, a healthy, mature ecosystem is not a picture of a single color, but a multicolored quilt that evolves and responds to changes in the environment and to changes within itself. He goes on to say, we are abruptly interrupting and most often reversing ecological successions all across the biosphere, turning complex ecosystems into simple, homogeneous systems with fast turnover rates. That is, we are accelerating and fragmenting our biosphere. Now is the time to repair the damage we have done to our fellow brothers and sisters of life throughout nature, and give them more space so that they can heal and heal us along the way. We have turned wild habitats into cities, farmlands, shopping malls, crowding in on the species with whom we share this planet. We have created the perfect conditions for a global pandemic. COVID-19 is yet another reminder that conservation and preservation is not just a luxury for rich countries or a romantic ideal. Our very survival depends upon us being better members of the biosphere, which is our larger community of life. But really the main thing I want you to take away from my words today and those of Enrique is the beautiful aspects of being different, thinking differently, seeing the world is a very complex system involving countless moving parts. And each of you represent one of those moving parts that only you can contribute to the whole. Now, you are still in the early phase of self-discovery, discovering who you are, what makes you different, and most importantly, what makes you happy. What is your bliss? Continue that process of self-discovery, but at the same time, respect the other fellow humans you will be passing in the night on their separate journeys through life. Most importantly, you need to reach a point in your life when you look in the mirror and you like the person you see. So celebrate today's rite of passage. Thank those around you, your parents and friends who made it all possible, but then walk off this stage and continue to wander, since not all who wander are lost. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Thank you for letting me speak to the class of 2022. Now, get going.